Hello and welcome to My Brother and Me, an advice show for the modern era. I'm your oldest brother, Justice McElroy.
Oh, this guy over here? I'm your middleest brother, Travis McElroy.
I gotta take my socks off.
Whoa.
Can't sleep in socks, can't do podcasts in socks. It's Griffin McElroy.
You know, Griffin, I do that too.
Yeah.
And sometimes I only make it through one song as I'm like recording, take off one song, and then I'm out in the house.
That's
and
wild.
My wife is like, "Where's your other socks?" I'm like, "I don't know, baby."
We all have these ceremonies, don't we? We all have these rituals, don't we? To make this.
Don't we?
To make this
human
art.
being, ants marching. You know?
Yeah, we for sure under the
Hey,
table.
wake up in the morning. Dueling Days, baby.
And oh shit, we didn't do that before. Sorry, one of our rituals is that we do sing
Duelin'
David
Daves.
Matthews.
Dueling
Band.
Days, yeah.
We call it Duelin' Daves.
Yeah.
We accidentally did it on stage one time. We had to pay Mr. Matthews in his outfit $50,000.
Yeah.
Hey, guy, can I just say, normally we talk before the show about what our introduction is going to be, but I don't even think that we need to do that this time because there has been such well, I will say this because we didn't talk about it and we are recording. So this decision is already made. So we might as well lean into it. No, do you guys realize that within a week-long span, we, the hosts of My Brother and Me, are getting a Quantum Leap reboot?
Yeah.
Sure.
And the Santa Claus reboot. Both of those franchise, one's an announcement, one's a release, both in 1 week. Are you kidding me over
Our
here?
cup runneth
What
over.
do you want us to talk about? The fact that you're making more Quantum Leap that may or may not have a gushy presence. May not have
It'll be there, Justin. It might be an undercurrent. It might be implied gushy.
I mean, I'll say this: if I'm watching, yeah, he's very deeply in love with Dal. But if I'm watching Quantum Leap Mondays on NBC, you know there's going to be a gushy presence if you know what I'm saying.
Your wife Rachel is a Quantum Leap Bacula fan.
A freak for it.
Did her reaction? Is there any way her reaction to hearing about the reboot could have lived up to your expectations for the thrill that she would experience as having the Quantum Leap project back in full operation?
I think we have yet to watch it. She is, I think, suspended in a state of terror that it won't hit. You know, that it won't be gushy enough.
That it won't be gushy enough, or maybe they'll mess up the legacy. Like someone will bring up Dr. Sam Beck, and he's like, actually, he was imprisoned for his entire life for embezzlement, and he's a monster.
What if they combined what if they're in a shared universe, and at one point
they're both the Quantum Leap shows? I mean, I hope so. That would be wild if two different people figured that out.
No, Justin, the new Leapist leaps into the Santa Claus.
The leper.
Yeah, thank you. The leper jumps into the body of the Santa Claus.
That's funny. And he's like beating the shit out of Martin Short's Jack Frost, and then he like wakes up and he's just killed what he must think is the real Martin Short. And then he's like, whoopsie, which is the new thing he says in the reboot. And then you get if that theme song is not just a soaring then there's God is dead, and that's what I'll say about that's my only thing that I'll say about it.
Let's talk about Santa Clauses, though, because I think we've held off long enough. That was a good discussion of Quantum Leap, but I think everybody here wants to talk about the Santa Clauses coming to Disney Plus. It is a series.
There's so much meat on the bone. It couldn't be contained in one episode.
Thank you, my liege. My cup runneth over. So this show of the Santa Clauses is about like Santa is talking in the trailer for this. We see him talking to Peyton Manning about becoming Santa Claus. But what he means is like a game designer. He meets like a game designer who comes up to the North Pole with his family, and I think he So he announced he's looking for a replacement. So like I know what the Santa Claus is about.
Bylaws.
It's about whoever kills Santa takes over as Santa. That's not a goof we came up with for the show. That's what happens in movie is Tim Allen accidentally kills Santa and then he has to be Santa forever. So Travis, if I may, what this show is about Santa Claus trying to get Peyton Manning to be the one that kills him. I think.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of. He's talking to Peyton Manning about becoming Santa.
I'm on all the Santa Claus forums, as you know, and our theory,
Santa Twisters, please.
Yeah, what we're talking about is the possibility of he's arranged some kind of like flatlining scenario where it's like I will die for a moment,
medically die.
Yeah.
I'll be medically brain dead,
and then you're going to resuscitate me, but the moment will have passed. You'll be the Santa Claus, and I'll be free to go back to being a shithead Scott Calvin, free from this horrible morality curse that I was given. I can go back for like voting for Trump and just like loving conservative politics.
It doesn't work though. What we get is two Santas. One's a regular Santa and the other's a demented Santa that can remember hell. And that is, I don't like that at all.
I do like that though. If this show is just, I'm guessing it's not Timothy. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Oh, it is Timothy. Okay. So this show is
They already took Buzz Lightyear away from him, Griffin. They're not going to take Santa, too.
It's got Laura San Giacomo as a Christmas witch, it says here.
We do like that.
Do you want to hear the quote?
But, I wanted to say a thing.
Go, say your thing. I want to hear it, Griffin.
If this show is just Timothy Allen trying to trick Peyton Manning into killing him for a 12-episode season, if it's just Peyton Manning starts his car and he turns on the rear view camera and sees Tim Allen just lying behind his car, and he's like, "Oh, not this time,
please, Peyton,
please, Peyton." There's so many houses, and the presents are so big.
He stands up and he's like, "Oh, you got me this time, Peyton." And then when Peyton pulls out in the driveway, Tim Allen tries to throw himself in front of the car, like, "You're gonna make me late for football practice."
Is it Peyton Manning as himself?
Yeah. It's Peyton Manning as himself, and Santa's like, "Please kill me."
You could throw...
That's the only way he can become Santa. It's the only way he can take over. Here's what Timbo said about this at the D23 Expo.
I need money.
Disney,
please.
Hilariously, due to the confluence of Buzz Lightyear, I mean, they're out of the Buzz Lightyear business, but he can still be Santa. There's a new Buzz Lightyear in town, but Timbo's still, I guess that they're working it out. Here's the quote from Tim. You people made me, said Alan when he asked where he decided to reprise the character. We thought about this for a long time. The only way I would do this is if they answer some of the background. They answer the questions.
Yeah.
I said yes.
Sure.
What Tim is saying is like, and then he adds, "You guys are going to dig it." So what he's saying is like, he wants to get into the mythos. That's the only way he's like really digging into the dirt of Santa. I'll give you some hard examples that are literally from this article. Among the questions that will be answered are, why Mrs. Claus doesn't have a first name? Okay. The history of Santa.
Hold on, wait. Is that syntax good?
Why Mrs. Claus doesn't have a first name?
Hey, why is Mrs. Claus in her name?
The sentence is, among the questions that will be answered are why Mrs. Claus doesn't have a first name.
Oh, okay.
The history of Santa, and whether there has been any human children at the North Pole.
Well, first of all, yes.
Yes.
We already know because Max is there in like the first movie. But also, hey.
I think of them as episodes. They're prequel episodes to the Santa Clauses, a 12-episode series.
Pretty bold that the Santa Claus, which, don't get me wrong, has already established the murder lineage lore, is like, hey, I think we're the ones who should put this in our hands. We've already established it goes Santa to Santa through bloodshed. We're going to talk about why Mrs. Claus doesn't get a first name. And Timbo, with all of his open-minded progressive values, is definitely going to do a delicate job handling why his wife doesn't get a first name.
Yeah, he's going to be fucking funny. I think are we ready?
Are we ready to
Are we
forgive
ready?
Tim
I don't
Allen?
know,
He
because
hasn't
they-
asked for it.
They
He hasn't
canceled
asked
last
for
minute.
it.
Yes, it has to atone it anyway, but are we? But the ball's in our court, isn't it?
Well, they
Kind of.
canceled Last Man Standing because of his conservative values as far as he's concerned.
Right.
But then Disney was like, you know what, though? We've actually been a little too progressive lately. Been getting a lot of good press for that. Let's rope in some of those guys. Let's bring in some of your fellows.
oh, you know they're gonna be deep and rambunctious. These Santa grunts.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
Now, is Santa Grunts the sound he's going to make or the fans of the Santa Claus?
Okay, that's actually as much as I can gin up, pretending to enjoy.
I will just say in closing, Happy
Please.
David Krumholtz is working.
Yes.
Good for you, David Krumholtz.
Agreed there.
Everyone, make David Krumholtz work more. Put him in
no
more
matter
things.
no matter what he says.
And no matter what the work is, just make David Krumholtz work for you. Put David Krumholtz to work for you.
Hey, it's time for nature to start healing itself. Make David Krumholtz work for you. Too long have you worked for David Krumholtz.
Digging up his movies, watching them. Now,
It's
let
time
come
for
to
him
you.
to return the favor.
David Krumholtz has a van and he's ready to work.